Right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. One South African team has played, and they are out. The Sharks going down to Salou earlier, quite heavily in the end, although they were competitive a lot of the game. So all the South Africans' Champions Cup hopes now lie with the Stormers. They are over in the UK and are playing against the Exeter Chiefs. Matthew Reynolds, the man in the middle, and they are playing for a spot in the Champions Cup semi-finals. And so what a big occasion this is for the Stormers and for their fans and for South African rugby. The question is, can they go one better than the Sharks? Can they continue to, fly that South African flag high and get their first ever semi-finalist? Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? As we do have kickoff underway, playing left to right are Exeter Chiefs. So Stormers receiving kickoff, but not receiving it. Ball was allowed to bounce, but Jason Dixon eventually snatching it up. And we're going to go through the teams in a bit of a moment. And we'll talk about who's playing where and some of the matchups that we've got for in this game, which should be an absolute cracker. Looks like decent conditions as well, by the way, which is pretty good for Storm's perspective. As a team that likes to play nice and running rugby. First ball they do send in the air, they do win back as well. Steven Kitsoff taking the ball into contact. Herschel Yankees going to, looks like Jason Dixon. Sorry, it's the big... And once again, going to the air, there's Damien Willems towards the left-hand side. Damn people to see lurking, but getting it around. The captain for Exeter Chiefs, Jack Noah, getting his hands on that. We'll wait for the first break of play, and we'll go through some of the teams. But in the meantime, you do have a poll running in the comments. Go and make sure you vote on it. Let me know who you think is going to win this clash, who you're supporting, who you're backing, what you thought about the Sharks game as well. The Exeter Chiefs with ball in hand for the first time. Quick rush defense here for the Stormers. Dan Dubuisson, Ivan Carrick, Sam Simmons. Eventually, Sylvester Nutley, who popped up early, coming across to make that tackle. Bit of an offload there, and just we were slipping the first tackle there. I went towards the back there. And the ball's gone forward here with no advantage. I think it's going back for the first penalty of the game. Number 4, it is against, that is Ernst van Rijn. Let's go to the side, shall we? We'll start with the home side. In the front row, Scott Sear, Dan Frost, Marcus Street. Then you have Johnny Gray and Daft Jenkins in the second row. And a very exciting back three of Janus Kirsten, Chris Junza, and Sam Simmons. Will Beckinsale will partner with Joe Simmons, Ollie Woodburn, Jack Noah, the two wings, Sean O'Brien, Henry Slade in the midfield, Tom White at full back for the men playing in pink today. Off the bench, Jack Yendel, Nika Abaladze, Josh Lefesa Scott, Aidan Davis, Dave Ewers, Tom Cairns, Harvey Skinner, and the Scottish Centurion of Stuart Hogg can come on and add a bit of impetus later on in that game. For the Stormers, Stephen Kitsoff, Joe Strayer, Vance Moherber, Ernst Ferrein, Marvin Ori, no Dion Free, who is injured for his clash. Therefore, Junior Pokamela gets an opportunity in that 6th jersey. Jason Dixon, Marcel Tennyson completing that back three as Stormers do win that line out from Exeter, and under a bit of pressure there, but a good line win for them. The back lines, Herschel Yankees, Monty Box, Sylvester Nutley, Daniel Duplessis, Ruan Nalt, Shillerman Hartsburg, Damien Willemse, and as the Stormers have run through a couple of phases before giving Herschel Yankees a bit of a better angle to find to actually go to Monty Liebach, who will find touch. And does so, not his best touch finder, but do progress a few meters. Off the bench for the Stormers, it will be JJ Costa, Alistair Vermaak, Nieto Verschering, Gary Porter, Willie Engelbrecht, Achiba Diamandi being used as a impact player today, Paul DeVet and Clayton Blommetjies. Those are your two sides today. Right, we do have a poll running in the comments to go and vote. Let me know who you're backing. A lot of people backing the Stormers here to get the job done. And feeding the line out there this time much better than Frost. And Simmons wrap around. Knock on an advantage there from, but really impressive line speed there from the Stormers defense. Now moving towards the left. Ball on the top. Hartzenberg has shot up, giving a bit of space. Junior Pokamela having to get across and make the tackle. This is much better for the Exeter Chiefs. They're just outside the 22. That was Kirsten, the big South African born flanker today. Often play on the lock. Beckinsale going on the left side. They do have numbers here, do Exeter. Comes inside there, does Ollie Woodburn. Already involved quite a lot. There we go, Jans Kirsten with the offload. Joseph Dweb eventually making the tackle on Dan Frost. Now options here needed. There's Gray, it takes into contact. And a big hit on Beckinsale. It's a good hit as well. The Christians are coming away with it eventually, but lost a meter or two there, did Exeter. Now coming down the left-hand side. That's another big tackle coming in, this time on Joe Simmons. Beckinsale to his right-hand side. Yeah, a couple of options, but he runs into the brick wall. That is Joseph Dweb. He's already made quite a couple of big hits so far today. Very flat ball there. Dan Duplessis eventually bringing him down. Quick recycle needed here for Exeter. Does come as well. Ball at the top towards Jack Noel. Jack Noel's got a 2-on-1 situation. Cuts inside. Damian Williamson makes the tackle. Earns Van Rain there. But good ball once again for Exeter. Janus Kirsten with the offload as well. Sam Simmons linking up. And really quick ball here from Beckinsale. Joe Simmons, ball over the top. Oh, there's so many numbers. They've got to score. They've got to score. There's not a forward pass. How? And they've completely butchered that. All it needed was a legal pass, and surely they would have had to have gone over. It was almost a 3-on-1 situation, and a forward pass. Goodness me, that's a bit of a butcher. That is proper bad. Kevin Publishing earlier saying Stormers, Hunter van Heerden saying go Stormers, saying how's the watch channels this game on? It's on Supersport Grandstand. I think it's on BT Sport overseas. Unfortunately, no free-to-air broadcaster for this game. I think they are being shown on Flow Rugby though. So if you'd like to go get ExpressVPN and get yourself a Flow Rugby, you will be able to watch the action. Jack Noel sitting down after that tackle, receiving a little bit of treatment there, which will be a bit of a worry for the Exeter Chiefs captain. Right, just sort of settling into things a little bit. So I'm going to move to a different screen over here. There we go. Got a little tracker over there and stuff like that. Just make sure everything was working. Break and play here as Jack Noel does get treatment. Now Jack Noel all good, and we'll continue. Stuart Hogg already on the bike, getting a bit warmed up in case he is required. Will be his last Champions Cup game, potentially, if they were to get knocked out. He has announced his retirement at the end of the season. Or the end of the World Cup, rather. The end of the year. So, last couple of months of domestic rugby for Stuart Hogg. First game of the day, and it's a penalty. Well, it's a short-term free kick through the Stormers. Wouldn't be surprised if they asked for another one. Stephen Kitsop being the captain. No, Monty Debog's going to pump this downfield. But a nice little early win there. Just think it was an early engagement there coming from Exeter. So nothing too sinister. And just the free kick. But I unfortunately missed the Sharks game. I was at a braai. And then they had football on as opposed to the rugby. So let me know what you thought about the game. I'd be interested to see what you guys thoughts were. And what apparently I missed. Apparently a very controversial card against Marcus on the Pimpy is what I'm hearing. Good line up there from Exeter. Good hands here. Quick defense up there. Sibelius and Atlas. Damian Williams has run up here to try and meet Jack Noel. He steps inside. He's eventually brought down by Ruan now, who is making his 50th appearance for the Stormers. Now they're going on the short side. A couple of hands there. Sam Simmons coming inside. And Sibelius and Atlas once again has to deal with the big and fast number 8. Quick this time. Very slow ball for Beckinsale. Goes to Gray, who pops it up to Christ Chunza. The young flank, who already had a couple of knock-on advantage there for Exeter. I don't know if they've actually... Yeah, he has blown it, so it will be a scrum here. Tell you what, the line speed so far of Exeter looks pretty daunting, although I must say that it also looks like Stormers' rush defense does seem to be working. They have gotten up there quite quickly and haven't been punished too yet, although very close to being punished if they hadn't thrown that forward pass, then it could have been a bit sketchy there for the Stormers. Sean Farrell saying the highlights of the Sharks games are already on YouTube. And in French, if you want to watch it, I'll go and make sure I check it tonight. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until later because we've got back-to-back live watch-alongs, people. Exeter Chiefs versus Stormers. Before the main event of the weekend, really, the Lions versus Glasgow Warriors. My boys getting their spot in the semi-final. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. We have got a collapse here at the scrum, so we'll have a reset. Already 8 minutes into this game. Still scoreless over there at Sandy Park. That's a bit of a better scrum there. Pretty solid scrum. Not too much on either side. Beckinsale going straight to Simmons. Kick over the top there. And a bit of pressure. Goes up well, though. Gets away from one. Brings in Ruan now. Here we go. Here comes the counter. This is where the Stormers are so effective. Ruan now up towards the halfway line. Goes to Hershey Yankees. Hershey Yankees brings in Marcel Tennyson with a good support play. Does get his knee down to the ground, so they do have to release him. Hershey Yankees going to Marty Liebach. Storm's first opportunity to get into the half. Damian Willemse almost caught in the ball, but gets away from one. And then he's just tosses straight to an Exeter player. Steven Kitsov then putting the kick behind. And it's worked out brilliantly to Damian Willemse, who's trying to get the chicken wing pass to Hershey Yankees, knocking it on in the process. Now Exeter Chiefs with ball in hand. What can they conjure up? Bit of space opening up ahead of White, but eventually he does just go down to ground just inside the 22. And penalty advantage here from the Stormers. Second penalty of the day. Almost a very, very good counter attack from the Stormers. And yeah, I think that's a bit of an early warning that the Stormers will enjoy sort of very loose ball and look for the counter attack. Conditions are looking very good. We spoke about this a little bit on our fan forum in terms of the result of this game could very much depend on the conditions, because Stormers love to keep ball in hand. They like to play a very high octane brand of rugby, and if it's going to be wet conditions, obviously that would prevent them from doing it in the purest sense. So it was important for them that they weren't going to arrive to very wet, very sort of muddy conditions. But looks pretty good actually. It doesn't look too wet. I'm sure the ball is a bit wet, but looks pretty good underfoot. And that'll play into the Stormers' hands. Also almost a bit of a knock on there from Beckinsale, but nothing coming from the referee. Big tackle being made there by France Maher, not somebody you want to run into. The big number 3. Taff Jenkins this time carrying it up. But still one side of their own half on the 10-meter line here. Not too much on here, so Will Beckinsale will lift this into the air. Right, Damien Williams underneath, who is Berger under the high ball. Sorry, Cinnamon Hartzenberg goes straight through him though, but it's picked up by Joseph Dweber, who's, thanks to the support of Ernst van Rijn, does manage to retain on the 10-meter line. Hershey Yankees, bit of space on the right-hand side. I think Ben Jason Dixon making the call and saying, I can see a bit of space here. Fighting hard as Ben Jason Dixon found himself in the line a bit more, but it's almost like a turnover ball here from Exeter Chiefs. It is a turnover ball. Almost looking a bit from the side there, but turnover ball is allowed here. And now Exeter and Woodburn being brought down, sorry, Sean O'Brien being brought down rather, just inside the Stormers' territory. Now going to the right-hand side. Sam Simmons, his brother Joe in the fly-half channel. Look very similar. Daff Jenkins. I'm sorry, Johnny Gray rather, taking the direct route. Also, a space behind with Sibelius Natler doing very well to get behind, then offloading to Damian Willemse. Damian Willemse goes inside. Sibelius Natler. It's a great covering tackle there coming from Janus Kirsten. Hershey Yankees now to Ernst van Rijn. Big hit on him by Kraus Chunza. And not too much on here for Hershey Yankees, so he's going to go to the boot. He's got Ruan now on his left-hand side. Junior Pokamela. Sibelius Natler is underneath it. Simmons there. Sorry, it's White rather. Now Sam Simmons to his brother Joe. On the bounce there. Eventually goes out towards Woodburn. And Ernst van Rijn is not going to be able to get there. So somebody needs to come inside. Damian Willemse. He's got options here. There's Woodburn. Damian Willemse eventually making the tackle. Actually really did well there to lay the tackle. There were 3 players around them. So you had to make sure that when he eventually get the tackle that it... But Trox had come in perfectly. Oh, they're going to go over. That is absolutely brilliant. And it's going to be Wyatt to score the try. So much space down that right-hand side. The cross kick was perfect. And Wyatt all of a sudden looks up ahead of him and just has nobody. Pinpoint stuff there from Simmons to his fullback. Tom Wyatt gets his second try in as many appearances. Stormers go behind. And that'll be frustrating for them considering where they were. But shout out to the break here from Woodburn. Just bang. Simon Hartzenberg was up and there was so much space. Woodburn cracks on the afterburners. Ernst van Rijn's desperately trying to get across there. But I mean, a lock versus a wing. Then he comes inside. Damian Willemse does quite well to delay his tackle. Gets a ball and all tackle as well. But so much space. Trying to work out what's here. But it's not there. You see, he has to come up and leaves a man out wide in Tom Wyatt, who's got so much space. Acres and acres, really. And he runs into that. What is a very big in-goal area for the first points of the day in the 14 minutes. Clinical, very impressive actually rugby that from Exeter. Shout out to the cross kick there. That was absolutely brilliant. Very, very impressive. Seems decent rugby so far. It looks like this could be the early signs of a really good game, actually. Simmons now going to line up the conversion. It won't be the most difficult, not the easiest by any means either. Got 130 votes. I'm going to close the voting at votes at 150. So once 150 people have voted, we will end that poll, which I think the votes might start sliding a little bit after seeing that try from Exeter. Please also do smash like on the video, by the way. Over 187 people currently watching and just 16 likes. It's just rookie numbers. You've got to pump those numbers up as the Simmons does add the extras and brings the scoreline up to 7 points to 0. And the Storm as well. There we go. It's a bit of a warning sign about how Exeter also enjoy playing a little bit in broken place. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. As I said, and I maintain the conditions so far have looked very, very good. Haven't seen anybody slipping anything like that. Not too many passes that aren't sticking. So it looks to be pretty good conditions for some nice running rugby, playoff rugby. Each of these teams just 3 wins away from European glory, potentially. Deep kick in there to Damian Willemse. Not too many options, so he's going to kick and chase himself. It's not gone too far, so it will be competitive. The ball has fallen down, but it is regathered. And a penalty. I'm not retreating there against Junior Pokamela. That's a pretty sloppy penalty to concede. And this is the thing, when you go over there, you're playing in a European quarterfinal in the UK and stuff like that. I mean, first of all, these are games that you dream of really as a franchise player. You want to play in these sort of big games, important games, but it's amazing how the margins of error are just so small when it comes to these sort of high pressure games. And these are the games where you've got international ambition. If you want to play for the Springboks, you want to play for your national side, you need to be able to show that you can perform in crunch situations. It's not good enough just performing in every third URC game or pool games. These are the big games where we want to see the big players like a Joseph Dweba who's carried that into contact. You want to see your big name players, and that ball's come off the top of Ernst van Ryn's head. Dan Duplessis doing well to clean that, and Ronnie Liebach under a bit of pressure there, doing very well to get away from a couple. And now the pick up and go coming from I think it's Ben Jason Dixon, who, like I said, has become a bit of a mainstay all of a sudden in the Stormers side. Very big fan of him, actually. Puts in a lot of work. You'll see him getting at least 70, 80 tackles today. Ball over the top to Wyatt. Goes to Jack Noel, who seems to be okay after that time injured. The Exeter Chiefs captain, almost getting around Dan Duplessis. Eventually brings it down, but he's got his hands free, looking for an offload. But eventually managed to break through with the tackle, actually. And France Malherbe has to be completed. Exeter Chiefs up to the 10-meter line. Now they're going short side. Not too many options there. It wasn't a lot of space. Looking towards the right-hand side, there's far more space to work with. As Daft Jenkins carries it in. The support from his co-lock, Johnny Gray. Now Simmons, ball over out wide to Woodburn, who created that break earlier. Decides to go direct. He's brought down by Dan Duplessis with Alpfarm Junior Pokamela. Stephen Kitsoff trying to get over that ball. He is so good on the ground. Such a good fetcher, Stephen Kitsoff. Marvin Ori, Ernst van Ryn. The two Stormers lost completing that tackle. Janus Kirsten, the ball carrier that time. Simmons giving a nice and flat, but it's a very good tackle. Once again, coming from Joseph Dweba, who's really shown physically that he's up for this game so far. Ruano now up against Sean O'Brien. Quite impressed with the ruck speed so far from Exeter as Johnny Gray takes it into contact. But Stephen Kitsoff, as we just talked about how he's such a good fetcher, and he gets on over the ground, wins the penalty. Spicy Plum coming in clutch, and he does come in clutch so often. I'm going to end the poll there, by the way. 170 votes is the final number. And of those 170 votes, 82% backing the away side, backing the Stormers. You've got Monty Liebach in a bit of a polo neck over here, or turtleneck even almost. He's going to bring out the left boot of his, try and get Stormers into the 22, which I think he's done, And just bang, Stephen Kitsoff all over that, and he's a hard man to move. Look at some of the comments here, shall we? Le Bleu saying, come on, Stormers. Sean O'Farrell saying, Exeter only going through to the last four because of scoring more tries than Montpellier. Sandy Park, always a good atmosphere from watching the meetings LEINSTER over the year. Alpha Lincoln saying, ouch, so much for Exeter teams taking over Europe. Well, the early days in this game anyway. Sean O'Farrell saying, Champions Cup is a different beast to the league. All the best, so no easy matches. All you have to earn your right for the last four, 100%. And this is why I'm talking about the fact that these are the games you dream of. These games, semi-finals, finals, playoff rugby. One mistake can be the difference between you leaving the competition or not. And a decent maul. Now, Marnie Liebach with the cross kick, but it's been charged down. But it's worked out almost quite well by Damian Willemse, so he's trying to get his hands free as well. And Simmons winning the penalty. Damien Williams are completely isolated. Yeah, the cross kick from Moniba wasn't the worst idea, but being charged down. And a couple of small moments so far in the last couple of minutes going the way of the Exeter Chiefs. Alpha England saying so many SA players overseas really showing. Not just SA, many nations playing. Just, yeah, if you look at so many Welsh players involved today for Exeter. You know, Christ Jones, a very exciting young player coming through that Welsh setup. But yeah, Janus Kirsten playing for Exeter. Stuart Hogg's going to come on a bit later. Daft Jenkins. Yeah, he's just so isolated. There's just nobody around Damien Williamson. The tackle comes in and from Henry Slade, and Joe Simmons is on it very quickly. And there's, yeah, by the time anybody arrives, it's just far, far too late. Not a bad running more early on, though, from the Stormers. So I'll take a little bit of solace out of that. The line-out this time goes to Christians with a very good from Dan Frost. Flat this time for Slade. He brings in Sean O'Brien as centre partner. I'm in towards the left there. Yeah, it's Kirsten. And he comes flying up here as Hershey Yankees. Very good defensive read that from the scrum off. Who I think will be looking at that injury of Jaden Hendrickson and thinking, well, this could be my opportunity to try and get myself back in that box setup. He has come a long way in the last couple of months as Hershey Yankees. Very close to playing some of his best rugby. Samson is not too much on. Looks up and sees some space. He's looking for that 50-22. He's going to get that with absolute ease. That is a terrific kick from Joe Simmons. And just spotting the space, could see that Cinnamon Hartenberg was up. So an acres and acres of space to kick into it. Dan Frost all of a sudden will feed the ball into the line for an Exeter Chiefs inside the 22. Great kick there from Joe Simmons, who I'll tell you what, in the early stages, definitely seems to have risen to the occasion. And at the moment, really controlling things very well is the Exeter Chiefs fly half. Ball over the top, not looking for going to the maul. Very flat there. Big hit on Junior Pocametta and Moni Bilibok, and they've broken through the extra 1 and 2 meters. Janus Kirsten stepping on the inside. Marvin Ori and Stephen Kitsoff completing the attack. 2 Springbok players there. Now Daft Jenkins. Simmons on the right side. Show and go. Cuts inside. 1 cuts inside. 2 is eventually brought down. I think it's Damien Williams, so he makes the tackle. No, Damien Williams was lurking in the back there. So it was Junior Pocamella. Pick up and go there. Open almost straight through. Jack Noah is straight through. Is he going to go through? Can he reach? He does reach. He goes over. That's soft. That's soft. A moment of magic, though, from the Exeter Chiefs captain. And you kind of wonder, how is your wing pick up and going, getting through the pillar defense, getting over the try line? But that is a big moment for the home side. Jack Noah, who we thought could have been an early injury substitute, well, he's gone over for Exeter's second in the 22nd moment. 20th minute rather. It's a sixth Heineken Champions Cup try, 36 appearances, and the winger you can see spotted a bit of space. And Marvin Ori, you've got to do better than that. Jason Dixon also slipping the tackle. Ernst van Rijn completing his tackle, but by then he was so close to the try and he had the opportunity to place. He does place, and that's why you cannot switch off. You cannot switch off when you've got world-class players around you, like a Jack Noel, international player, plays for England. Can spot somebody who's not concentrating like that, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, they've scored 2 tries within the last 10 minutes, and Stormers find themselves 14 points nil. I tell you what, Jack Noel's still not happy, eh? Still getting a bit of a treatment from the coaching staff. I don't think he'll want to go out. As the captain, he'll want to try and soldier on for as long as he can. But definitely doesn't seem to be particularly comfortable. But Marvin always got to do better than that, as does Ben Jason Dixon. 2 forwards in close proximity. You shouldn't really be, slipping a tackle that easily. Right, restart. And let's tell you what, the Stormers don't score next. There could be in a bit of trouble here, but a very good start here for the home side. Sean Farrell saying defense win games. I think it's a good point. What they used to sort of say, defense. I mean, what's attack can win you games, but defense wins you titles. And that's kind of the difference. And I agree with that. I think the first try was very well worked, and I think a couple of gaps that opened up. But that try, for example, that's just poor one-on-one tackling. That's just, yeah, two players slipping a tackle and conceding a try. You know, that's not even a systematic error. That's just individual errors. And Ruan now, speaking of individual errors, has missed his tackle. This could be a third potentially. That kick has gone down the left to right hand side just as well. Not the best kick coming from, I think it's White in the end. Right, so it will be a lineup for the Sharks just outside the 22. Joseph Duever completes the lineup there. Dan Duplessis coming, so it's Marcel Tennyson coming on the inside there, finding himself in that inside centre channel. Right, Hershey Yankees lift us high in the air. Sibila Sanatle. Sanatle knocking it, actually coming off with the extra Chiefs player, so it's going to be forward. So it will be a Stormers scrum, so that kick was worked out quite nicely. The referee chat's arrived. Yeah, no, listen, I don't think you can talk about the referee much. He hasn't even had that many decisions so far. We're, what, 25 in, and I think we've had 3 penalties, maybe 5 in total. So we'll have a scrum here for the Stormers. Another free kick there for the Stormers. Second free kick they've won at scrum time. Not sure what the issue is here, but haven't had too many completed scrums so far, so hopefully that will change as the game moves on. Francois Herbert looking as battle hardened as always. Big mop of hair, the tape around the head and the big beard, but they have called for another scrum. Francois Herbert, I mean, it's a Springbok front row, backed up by Marvin Orr. He's also a Springbok in the second row. So, you know, why wouldn't you want to be really having a go when it comes to the scrum time? You know, you really should be backing your tight five here to get a job done. Right, that's a much better scrum there. It is going to be available for Hershey Yankees at the back. Penalty, in fact, coming to on the Stormers. And this is the thing. So you got to really look at your big players, your big name players. You know, lean on, you know, what you can really back. And for the Stormers, it's got to be your Springbok front row. You've got a Springbok front row then. All Springbok front row. You've got Frans Beheer, Stevie Kitsoff, two of the best scrummagers in the world, being backed up by Joseph Dweber, who is coming in leaps and bounds over there at the Stormers. Back it. Back that set piece, you know, back that scrum, and they've called for another one. They said no, we can reckon, but then they don't find touch, and then what, you can't have nice things if you don't find touch. That's a massive error coming from the Stormers. And David Williamson now trying to spark things himself. He scored an absolutely incredible try last weekend, probably one of the best finishers you'll ever see. And Stormers now having to build him a little bit further back after missing touch for that penalty. But they are slowly but surely progressing. Just about the 22 now going to Monyibok. Going to David Williams. A quick ball out to Dan Duplessis. Dan Duplessis going to Sibela Sanatla. Sanatla takes contact. And nobody just... And has lost ball in contact. You see a couple of small mistakes now creeping into the Stormers game. Not finding touch. Losing the ball in contact. They probably won't mind a scrum. And Exeter will be wary of this. And Sanatla, it's been very well actually. Been ripped out of his hands in contact. So it'll be another scrum, yeah, as we approach the half an hour mark. Right, I want to put another poll in the comments. Any ideas for a poll? I mean, what sort of questions can we answer? What sort of questions would you like to talk about? Let me know in the chat, and we'll chuck a young poll and get the going in. Pass right in front of Jason, but he does well. Henry Slade now hammers it in behind Suleiman Hartzenberg. I think it's actually Damien Willemster who's going back, and he's missed it, and he's kicked it into touch, has Willemster. Under so much pressure there from Exeter, and this is the thing. Storm was all of a sudden, for the first time probably this game, looking very, very frazzled. Just a couple of mistakes creeping into the game. Damien Willemster having to get back there. I mean, Suleiman Hartzenberg's nowhere to be found, just getting the bounce of the ball completely wrong and ending up kicking it out himself. And that's just the pressure, isn't it? That's just the pressure creeping in. And it's amazing how when you start getting even momentum, you start riding momentum, the ball starts, oh my goodness, Woodburn's gone straight through. He's going to go straight through. He has gone straight through. That is ominous signs for the Stormers. Exeter Chiefs have scored a third try, and the cameraman, we almost missed it because it happened so quickly. What an absolutely sensational try. It looks like a set-piece move from the line-out. 3 tries in the first half an hour. The Stormers' defense absolutely nowhere. Exeter Chiefs all over them. Ominous signs for John Dobson's men. But let's have another look at this shot because this looked absolutely perfect. Ball straight over the top. Inside ball. And by the time the Stormers players have realized what's going on, it's a pretty poor attempt at a tackle by Suleiman Hartzenberg, it must be said. Absolutely nobody there. Junior Pokamela comes up, inside ball goes to Woodburn. Francois Herbert's the closest man, and he steps inside Suleiman Hartzenberg far too easily, it must be said. Bang, bang, and the third bang by Exeter Chiefs. This could be a long day at the office all of a sudden for the Stormers. They're 19-0 down, probably soon to be 21 points still down. Tell you what, they're a side that could really use the halftime whistle because at the moment, they're looking very, very, nowhere really, very shaken, very, I said frazzled, I think is a pretty good word. Well, Woodburn's had a good game so far. He had that terrific break, which sort of created the chance and the space and the momentum to score that first try. All of a sudden, we've now seen a set-piece move, and he's gone straight through the middle there. People saying it might not be straight. I think it is probably a little bit skewed by the end of it, but not massively, to be honest. And Storm's players playing about the not sure, but you'd like to see it again. Actually, I think if it had been taken by one of the locks, for example, in the line, I think it would have been a case. But I think the further it went back, the more it sort of drifted offline. And then now a free kick at the line. Now this is the thing: Stormers all of a sudden are just making so many basic errors, and they're taking themselves out of the game here. They've got to try and turn this around. Yes, you've had a bad start. It's, you're behind now a little bit, but you've got to hang in the fight here. Even when you're having a bad time and a bad moment, you cannot afford to switch off because all of a sudden you can be 21 points down. A long way to come back for. It'll be a sensational comeback if they were to make it. But you got to stay in the fight here. Monty Buck lifting it high in the air. A couple of chases there. So far, the kicking game has actually worked quite well for the Stormers. They benefited from quite a few up and unders. This time, however, Exeter Chiefs doing much better, and Andrew Bassi being caught not rolling. So winning the penalty, they do Exeter, and I reckon that they're going to try and go for poles here. And yeah, this is the problem. All I said, you can kind of compound your early mistakes with something like this. Just 3 players on the tackle there. Dan WC being caught in amongst 3 or 4 Exeter Chiefs players. Very difficult for him to roll. He does do his best. Takes too long, and they're called for the shot. And Exeter Chiefs, now that they've scored for all those 3 tries, now they're going to try and build an innings, aren't they? Right, so Simmons will be lining this up. 6 points already from the boot of him. Been a pretty good night of the team, and you'll like to continue that 100% success rate. Pretty straightforward, just off the left-hand side, as you can see by, well, the tracker will catch up eventually, I'm sure, and tell you. And it's going to jump off the poles. It's actually missed it, and Ernst van Rijn is there. Does manage to get across and win it back. Good work there from the lock. So, yeah, a bit of a let-off there from the Stormers. 3 points goes begging for Simmons. But Stormers still deep inside their half. And with 6 minutes to go, yeah, I think Stormers could score again before half time and go out and walk in with a bit of momentum and score first in the second half. Maybe a comeback could be on, but this becomes a very tall order. 21 points is a long way to come from behind, especially when they haven't really looked particularly dangerous so far. They've had 1 or 2 moments, but generally it's been Exeter who've looked so good with ball in hand. Stormers competing at the line once again. It hasn't been their best set pieces, Exeter, the Lions. They have lost 1 or 2, and there we go. Ball being turned over there from the Stormers. So, yeah, they need to try and turn a bit of momentum somehow and try and start building their game. And what you got to keep telling yourself is if Exeter can score 3 tries in half an hour, we can do the same thing, and then the game is level. But you've got to stay in the fight. You cannot keel over and just let them dictate play, because if they do, and you start conceding silly penalties, they start building a scoreboard, all of a sudden you could be 30, 40 points down, and then the game is true and well gone. Right, so it's a scrum, yeah. Someone's got the full width of the left-hand side to work with. It's just inside their 10-meter line, as I said, on the far right-hand side. Scrum has been pretty good from the Stormers. They have already won a penalty from it. And this is going to be another reset. So Exeter struggling a little bit with the pressure of the scrum. And a reminder, after this game, you'll be live for the Lions versus Glasgow Warriors game as well. So plenty of content still to come your way. And you can see, look at the possession there, 67% for Exeter, 86% lineouts. Stormers missing 2 out of 5 lines already so far. Scrum stats aren't particularly true. The Stormers definitely have. But I think the biggest thing is discipline. Stormers conceding 8 penalties so far to the Exeter Chiefs 3, and Stormers need to find their way into the Exeter 22.5. Really, Hoshiak is going himself off the base of the scrum after that ball did pop out. Simon Hartzenberg running into scrum off there. Yankees goes to the boot. Woodburn underneath it. Good take from him. Pressure from Simon Hartzenberg. I think ruined now there. And that's Ben Jason Dixon, who, as I said, does get through a lot of work. Scott Sears first carry of the day. I looks like it. Now Beckinsale just bring the ball to the back before he lifts into the air. He's going for sort of distance, but it will be contestable. Moy Leibok underneath it. Under a lot of pressure. Has to ride the contact. A bit of help coming in from Damien Willems. Yankees there. Quick ball there to Stephen Kitsoff. And popping up to Yankees goes to Sibela Sinatla. Sinatla wants to come out on the angle. Stepping away from one before his foot is caught. Yankees goes to Moy Leibok. Moy Leibok through the gap, but losing his footing in the process, going down. Yankees going to Damien Willems. So Damien Willems has been looking to be held up by Slade. And no, but does get his knees to the ground. So they do have to release. Yankees quick ball. Oh, looked like somebody was offside there. The way that was up there very quickly. Yankees looking to try and really inject a bit of line speed and a bit of impetus into the game there. Going himself. I'll pick up and go from Marcel Tennyson. Making a few yards. It's a bit better from the Stormers this. Yankees going back to Moy Leibok, not too much on. In fact, he decides to go himself. He's a bit of indecision there, creeping to Moy Leibok. Shaped to kick twice, then eventually taking himself. Yankees goes back to Damien Willems that he will kick. Ruan now and Suman Hartzenberg will be the chasers, but it's a bit of a juggle there from White. Then spotting a bit of space down that left-hand side. In fact, it goes down the middle of the park. Damien Willems is back there, as is Moy Leibok. Willems taking quite a while before he gathered this. Going to Moy Leibok, a bit of pressure. Brings out the left boot. Does take a deflection. And Jack Noel under a bit of pressure because all the players are on side. Throws the ball back inside. He's put it straight to Ronnie Liebach. Liebach up to the 10-meter line. And Wyatt has got over that. And you've got to wonder how they've not managed to move him there. Jack Noel, well, that was a heart and mouth moment because he threw a ball blindly inside and it fell straight to Ronnie Liebach. It's a good tackle coming from Simmons, and Dan DBC has got to do better than and get White off the ball. If that was a quick recycle, something could have been on there from the Stormers. But just, yeah, as I said, Jack, look, credit to White, he gets to a good position and a strong position, but you've got to be able to move him, and I think that was a big moment in the game. You move him there, get some quick ball. Try and see if you can find a bit of space here. Score some points for half time. At this stage, with 40 seconds to go, it looks like Stormers will be going into half time. 21 points to 0 down. A couple of substitutions, I think, will come inside. I think you'll see Achieva Daimani onto the park quite quickly as well. I think he's somebody with a bit of X factor that the Stormers will look to try and use quite effectively. But Exeter Chiefs, well, I suppose, for them, they're looking at, let's get one last bit of points here before half time. We can get a 3-pointer. We can get another try even and put this game to bed. Well, then we're really in the driving seat, and we don't have to force the issue. And that's the biggest thing, is that when you're in the head, you can just build in it. You don't have to force the issues. You don't have to be too aggressive. You don't have to, go for the aggressive options. You can afford to take the points. You can afford to play a bit more sort of defensively, and you can play a bit more territory and sort of more game management, really, than having to chase the game. Because when you chase the game, you can sort of open yourselves up to counter-attack. You can obviously force mistakes potentially. But the clock has gone red. Last move of the day. Gray comes back inside, brought down by Herschel Yankees and Ernst van Rijn. And it's Kirsten, who's been quite industrious so far in this first half. But Joseph Dreber getting over that ball. Winning the penalty as well. And a couple of block coaches, I think, will be smiling watching him do that. Right, going for touch here. Marvin Ori barking a few instructions. He'll be the man calling the line out. Important to get this right. As I said, the Stormers' best chance is they're to try and score some points before half time. At least get a bit of momentum going into the break. Asking them to open the gap here is Mathieu Reynolds, the referee. They go to Ernst van Rijn. Good take from him. Hasn't managed to get the ball down, but he burst ahead with Ernst van Rijn. He's going himself. Jack Noel stood up to the challenge, but he's got up to the 5-meter line. That's a great... Oh, the ball's come loose. Of course it's come loose. That's kind of summed it up, hasn't it? Ernst van Rijn, well, his eyes would have lit up as he ran towards the try line with only Jack Noel ahead of him, but the ball coming loose once again, and that's kind of been the theme of the day, hasn't it? Every single time that there has been an opportunity, there has been a chance the Stormers, something's just bounced the wrong way. Half time over in England, it is 21 points to Exeter, 0 for the Stormers. A tough half for Stephen Kitsoff's men as he has a very frantic chat with Mathieu Reynolds. Obviously not happy about a few things. And this will be quite some mountain to climb for the Stormers when they do come back for the second half. We're going to take a short break, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. A couple new subscribers today, a couple new members as well. If you'd like to really support the channel, please do consider becoming a member. The link is in the description. A big shout out to our members who help keep this channel going. And, so a big thank you to them for all their contributions and supporting the channel. And we'll be back after half time. Right, and we're back. And the big question is, can the Stormers do the impossible? Can they? I'm asking you genuine questions. We're going to put that into the poll and see if you guys reckon a comeback could be on the cards or if the game is well and truly gone. Can the Stormers come back and win? They're going to need a couple of breaks like this. David Billimser won. David Billimser getting away from wide, looking for support. Still going as David Billimser. Support eventually arriving. Really good run there for him. That's more like it. Martin Leibach seeing a long pass out wide to Simon Hartzenberg. It's pretty us there, but he cuts inside. Going himself, Simon Hartzenberg. And outside, still going, trying to free his hands up. Gets down to the seat. Leaves the ball behind. Picked up by Hershey Yankees. Hershey Yankees up against the touchline. Will get bundled out. Well, that's a bit more like it, isn't it? Couple of those breaks, couple of those moments, and maybe anything's possible. And we spoke about in the first half, didn't we? We said we need your big players to step up. Well, it doesn't get much bigger in terms of importance. Damien Billimser, Ben Jason Dixon trying to go over that ball. Now, high ball under there for Simon Hartzenberg. Popping up to Ben Jason Dixon. Giving away to Damien Billimser. Damien Billimser bringing in Junior Pocamela. Steps inside. I think we're going to see a Chiba Daimani probably coming quite soon. I think that's somebody who can add a bit of X factor to the Stormers side. Flat there for Marty Leibach. A bit of space there. So Lattler, good hands. Ball over the top. Dan Duplessis. Ball bouncing around him. Show and go from him. Eventually decides to take contact. Push Young's going short to Marvin Ori. And referee, he does have to release there. Ball is available there for Storms with slow ball for Hershey Yankees. Going to Ben Jason Dixon. He's had a very hard-working game so far. Now, Marty Leibach. Behind Damien Billimser. Damien Billimser stepping away from 1 or 2. Running into Hershey Yankees. I tell you what, always seems to be able to make something happen when the ball it is to Damien Billimser. Now, Hershey Yankees not too much on, so just hammers it in behind. Woodburn there. Taking it and deciding to go long. And that's a very big kick. And Marty Leibach's going to have to go and fetch this from quite a while back. Not too many players coming back to help him out there. Going himself as Marty Leibach. Not sure that's the right option. Ben Jason Dixon is there to provide some support. So the Stormers do hold on to the ball. Hershey Yankees going to Frans Maherba. Frans Maherba, almost a bit of a show and go from the little tight end. What's going to happen? But we all kind of knew it. He's going to take the crash ball, aren't you? I mean, the man is very, very large. I don't think you're going to see him throwing too many skip passes and the likes. Hershey Yankees now going to the boot. As I said, the kicking game actually worked quite nicely in the first half. And Simmons underneath it there. Exeter back inside their own half. Nastia popping up to Janus Kirsten. Joseph Weber up to the task. Now going on the left-hand side, extra good hands there. Woodburn coming inside. Hershey Yankees there as the Pocamelo to make the tackle. Now it's Kirsten now. Stephen Kitsov trying to get over that ball. And you can see the penalty for not releasing. I think he's going to agree with that. Is Spicy Plum, who had a long chat to the referee as we went to half-time. I don't think he was particularly impressed with some of the calls being made. And but a good start that actually must be said for the Stormers in this early in the second half. And a good opening 5 minutes, a couple of nice little breaks there. And sometimes you just need those sort of moments, there's a couple of sort of phases, the passion to play during the game, just to really get yourselves up and back into the game. Well, it's another slip tackle there from Woodburn. Good move there. Ruan now missing a tackle. The second one he's missed, it must be said, is defense, which is usually so good. That's a very good tackle there from David Venom, so forcing the Chiefs behind the advantage line. Sean O'Brien now trying to find a bit of a gap. Sam Simmons sees half a gap. Sam Simmons bursts straight through. Sam Simmons. Game, set, match. Exeter Chiefs go over with the first possession of the second half with them. Sam Simmons spotted the space. He asked for it early. He popped it and ran straight through. He's so explosive. Dame Willemse trying to cover, but was never going to get there. And that, unfortunately, should be that for the home side. 23 tries and 29 appearances. It's an incredible record from Sam Simmons. It really is. And you can see, saw the gap there. Marvin Ory just shifting across too slowly, and Damon Willemse, yeah, I mean, when Sam Simmons is at full tilt, you're never going to get across there, unfortunately. And Billy Engelbrecht there on as well. I'll tell you what, if there were any more sort of wind in the storm and sails, that will certainly take a knock out of them, because yeah, you would have had a halftime talk. You were spoken about the fact that you're still in this game, and if you start well, you start positively, you get yourself into the game, that anything can happen, and then you go and you concede a try in the early stages, and all of a sudden you're thinking, right, well, you know, don't think don't think we're going to come back from that now. So very frustrating from John Dobson and his players, but I suppose now it's about playing for a bit of pride here. You know, maybe give them a bit of skate. It's not impossible, but 28 points to come back from will be one of the best comebacks of all time. It's a great kickoff and a very well read. Well, Slade is currently in the air here, so it's going to be a turnover ball, I'd imagine. Achieva Diamani is on the park, by the way. It is turnover ball. So it's a good kickoff there from the Stormers. Nice response. I like to see that from Ernst Ray. A couple of congratulations around there. Still thinking, you know, they still got to have the belief at the end of the day. Yeah, it's not a particularly happy-looking John Dobson. I think frustration etched all over his face. As I said, the important thing from them, 21 points down, you've got to score early. You've got to start well. And had to score first, and they haven't done any of those. And all of a sudden, they're now trailing by 28 points. And now you sit there thinking this is probably too far away. So a bit of break and play here before we get underway with the scrum. And look, if there's anything that's going to be able to bring the Stormers team back into it, is the scrum. Scrum, yeah, win a penalty, go to the corner, try, score a try. You got to try, score a couple of quick tries here. And then see if they panic a bit, you know? And maybe they do, maybe they don't. Probably don't, but playing with a bit of pride here now. You know, you don't want to be a team that gets to the quarterfinals and they get hammered and then people sitting there saying, well, maybe they pushed to the semifinals. Which I don't think they did. The Stormers played very well last week to beat the Harlequins and get there. This time a free kick for Exeter. I think early push is the call. So that's the last thing you need. Really, that is the last thing you need. When you're trying to get back and you've got an opportunity with a set piece that you've been doing well with, to then push early and concede a free kick is kind of sounds of the day, maybe. You know, a couple of very silly errors being made at very crucial moments from the Stormers. Damien Willemse underneath that there. Looking for the cross kick. And Red is happy to just watch it go into touch. Now taking it quickly, you have Exeter and Frost. I'm going to go back to Frost, who goes down the short side. Oh dear, that's a really poor drop. Backwards is the call. And Exeter back on the halfway line. They consult. Yeah, Albass is very slow with that, and it's allowed. I think it's Willie Engelbrecht got very quickly and made the tackle. So it's Ben Jason Dixon. Of course, it's Ben Jason Dixon. He's absolutely everywhere at the moment. There it comes. A penalty win one. Sealing off is the call. So an opportunity now for the Stormers to try and kick to the corner. This time they need to find touch. And yeah, and then you think about sort of certain key moments. How important was it when Monty Liebach didn't find touch in that first half and they didn't manage to score points? And you think about those sort of key moments, and teams that win and go on to win titles often have won the key moments. And I think that's been the Stormers' biggest problem, is that they haven't won the key moments. As I said, that kick to touch was so crucial. You know, you kick to touch, you score from there, it could be a whole different game. But now they are 10 meters out, or yeah, probably about 10 meters out. Ball goes to Marvin Oric. Good clean line out there from Joseph Dweber. Now looking for the rolling more here. Do look like they've got a bit of momentum. It's going very lateral, but now starting to shift a bit forward. They're up towards the 5 meter. This is good work being done here. Hard work being done here by the Stormers. It is starting to slow. Once is the core there. But here comes a bit of a second shove. It's all sort of breaking apart. And it's going to be, sorry, I was about to say, it's going to be turnover ball. So they have managed to come through the middle there, Exeter, and defended that very well. And once again, big chance going big in there from the Stormers. And yeah, credit to the Exeter Chiefs. I say, whenever they've been under pressure, whenever there has been an opportunity for the Stormers, the Exeter Chiefs have done very well to disrupt them. And either turn the ball over, force a penalty, force a mistake. So a lot of credit must be given to the Exeter Chiefs, who have done that incredibly well. But the Stormers will know that they haven't taken their chance, that they've had opportunities to get into this game, and they haven't taken it at the end of the day. And they'll be very frustrated about that, because yeah, at the end of the day, you take the opportunities, you win matches, you get yourselves into winning trophies, and they know this because they've won a trophy. You know, they won the URC last year, and there were stages in the URC playoffs and the final stuff like that where there were big moments, and they won those big moments. Today, they've lost those big moments. Now JJ Cott's going to come onto the field. I'm a big fan of JJ Cotter. I think he's a very nice player. He replaced Joseph Dweber. I thought had a very solid outing. We didn't see his stats because it looked like he was getting through a lot of work. Here comes JJ Cotter. So Joseph Dweber will depart after a 50-minute stint. Let's see if I can find some of these stats. As I said, I was quite impressed with what I saw from him today. Yeah, 11 tackles being made by Joseph Dweber. None missed. Turnover 1 as well. Just the 3 carries, 1 defender beaten, 1 offload, 4 meters gained. Yeah, I think that's a very tidy game from Joseph Dweber, actually. 1 botched line out. Right, free kick there from the Stormers. Now they'll ask the scrum here. This is a big opportunity. Now, this is the opportunity that they would have really wanted. No, penalty as well, actually. Penalty. It's been converted to a penalty. It said the second time, so they'll have another go at the rolling more. They did gain 5 meters last time. They'll now be on the 5 meter line. So a nice opportunity that's for the Stormers. JJ Kotzer. He's a good line operator. Nice and solid. Just needs to make sure he hits his man. Be very surprised if they don't go with this very simple stand 2 ball at the front. No, they don't, by the way. They go to the 4 ball. They've got Marvin Ori at the back. And they've got a bit of a run here so far, do they? They've got a bit of a run. Where is the ball? The ball's available for Hershey Yankees. And Dan WC comes back on the angle. Eventually runs into a bunch of extra forwards. Now you've got to relieve the ball there. And that's penalty advantage as well. Questions are not rolling. Good. Monty Liebach. Ball over the top. On the bounce to Snatler. Snatler comes inside. Snatler spinning. Pops it up to Damien Willems. So he just jabs it down. Stormers finally on the board. Probably too little too late right now. There's still a bit of time. Half an hour to go. 28 minutes. But should not have scored their first points in the 52nd minute. And they'll know that. They'll know that. And Damien Willems, well, he's played really well today, to be fair. He's been a bit of a shining light for the Stormers side. Monty Liebach, and this is a very important kick, and it's not an easy one. 10 meters in from the left-hand side. So you want to start this basically the way that sign is almost. And just sort of curl it in a little bit. When he's got kicking boots on, he's a very accomplished kicker, is Monty Liebach. And as I said, a very important kick in the context of the game, because Simmons has nailed all 4 conversions. Did miss a penalty. And that's looking pretty good. Just needs to sneak inside. Doesn't straightens. Needed to curl inside. Doesn't straight. So it does go down the right-hand side. So a pretty important kick there for Monty Liebach. And but more importantly, the Stormers 28 points to 5. They're going to have to score quite a couple of tries very quickly. They're going to get into this game, you know. But yeah, anything can happen at the end of the day. It was a 28-point game. Now it's a 23-point game. A couple more tries, and then it can become a 13-point game. Which is still a lot, isn't it? And that because where the issue comes. A couple converted tries becomes a 9-point game, which is still more than a converted try. So this is the problem. But Exeter swapped the entire front row, so they're bringing on their bench. Jack Yendor, Nika Abeladze, and Josh Lasefa Scott, all on in pink. I suppose it's a pink, maybe. No, it's pretty pink, actually. I'd say that's the color of the kit. Yeah. Restart there will land towards Hartenberg, and competition in the air. Then Damien Willemse comes away with it. Damien Willemse getting away from a couple. Damien Willemse just drifting to the side. Just needs to take it into contact here. Does eventually, and Yendor's involved immediately. An advantage. I think it was a high tackle there, so should have a free exit here. And France Maherben on the angle there. There's a knock-on advantage. And right up against touchline, very good exit there from Herschel Young. Which I don't think actually. I think actually has been quite good today, actually. And not straight from Exeter. So, a couple of mistakes creeping in for Exeter. Bit of a shift in momentum for the Stormers. And, yeah, you know, I think at the moment, it's, you know, the game's gone. The game's gone at the end of the day. The Stormers basically can't come back. It would be one of the greatest, if not the greatest comeback ever. To come back from 12 points, or 28 points nil down, is a whole different prospect entirely. Go and give a good showing of yourself, though. Go and show your coaches, the Bok coaches, that when the going gets tough, you're happy to go to the trenches. You're happy to just keep plugging, keep playing, not giving up, and giving a good show. It's a very big scrum coming in there from Exeter. The new front row certainly showing its difference. But Mondial, long pass out towards Sierra Sinatla. A bit of green grass ahead of him. He's going to chip and chase this. This is where Sinatla can be so dangerous. He's one of the fastest wings in the world. He's one of the fastest wings in the world for a reason. He almost gets there. Jack Noel is being brought in by Monty Liebach. They're right up on the 5-meter line there. Herschel Yankees wants to go down. Really good attack there from the Stormers, and they put Exeter right back on their 5-meter line. I'll tell you what, another meter or two, and Sebastian Nutley could have almost been ahead there. And you know, that's the thing. You've got to try and use your big player. Sebastian Nutley with all that pace. You just haven't seen it so far today. And taking a long time here to clear. At the base of the ruck here for Beckinsale. This is high in the air. He's not looking for touch. Forced to Monty Liebach. Goes Damien Willemse. Damien Willemse. Just try the 22. Herschel Yankees going behind to Monty Liebach. Monty Liebach got the cross kick towards Dan du Plessis. Dan du Plessis stepping inside. He's brought in by wide. Pops it up to France Maherben of all people. He just sort of turns and goes down. Good take from Ernst van Rijn behind. I'm not sure it was directed at him, but and he needs to release there, Mr. Ref. Now they go to Marvin Ory. Marvin Ory to Damien Willemse. Damien Willemse trying to get inside, in and out. Damien Willemse is still going as Damien Willemse. Makes a meter or two. Gets inside the 22. Herschel Yankees goes to JJ Kotze. His first carry of the day. Decent one as well. And a penalty advantage for not rolling. Penalty for not rolling. Stormers will be able to kick towards the 5-meter. Momentum has shifted. It's certainly shifted. Stormers with their tails up. Wouldn't say smelling blood right now, given the fact that they are 23 points behind. But you do feel a bit of a momentum shift. And as I said, make it interesting. Put Exeter under a bit of pressure and see if they panic a bit. You know, maybe they can. Maybe you know, there are a couple of Stormers players that when things start going really well for them, they can just sort of take the next step. So Nietli Bashir is going to replace France Maherben. And as Kirsten, by the way, is going to depart. Right, JJ Kotze, ball in hand. They're just about 10 meters out. Very similar place to where we're in the first line out. And this time they do go to the front of the line to Marvin Ory. Once again, looking for that rolling more. Netley Bashir, JJ Cotter, some fresh legs in there. But brand new front row for Exeter as well. So not too much happening at the moment. Once is the call. Not sure who has the ball there. Herschel Yankees wants to stay out. JJ Cotter has to use this. And it was the back, the Herschel Yankees. He throws the ball out as JJ Cotter. And Martin Liebach does very, very well to come and clean up. Hartzenberg goes direct, and Herschel Young is good appreciation of the law. He was out of the line, so he can't come join it until it's over. And Chiba Damani is just throwing one player off, getting through. That's a bit more like it. Herschel Young is quick ball to Marty Liebach. Marty Liebach's throwing it straight into the hands of Henry Slade, trying to hit that really flat pass, which he's known for, and Henry Slade reading it like an absolute book. And it's been turned over by Ben Jason Dixon, appreciating the fact the ball was out. So turnover. Well, double turnover there. Storm is still with possession, but they have lost about 15 meters. Now Marvin Ori at scrum half. Marty Liebach. Dandrew Bassi seeing a bit of space. Bringing in Ruan Nell. Ruan Nell cuts on the inside. Ruan Nell's getting all the way inside again on his 50th appearance. Ruan Nell's got over. That is a brilliant try. Well, they want to look at obstruction here, apparently. I tell you what, on his 50th appearance, that is an absolutely sensational, brilliant individual effort from Ruan Nell. We're going to have a check. Potential obstruction of the call. Apparently saying that Stephen Kitson might have infringed one of the defenders. Let's hope not, because Ruan Nell, I'll tell you what, he's been such a good servant for the Stormers. Let's have a look at this. Great hands here. I think it'll be harsh. I think he's running a dummy line. I think they bought that. No try. Oh, jeepers. That is a dreadful call, I think. I think they're definitely unlucky there. I think he's a genuine option there. I think he's running on the inside shoulder of Dan du Plessis, and they've absolutely milked that. Ruan Nell's going off, by the way. I don't know if that's injury. I think that's incredibly harsh. Incredibly harsh. I think he's running a good sporting inside line. I think he's a couple of meters back. I'm not so sure about that. Even the commentators are saying they're not so sure about that. Big moment in the game, that's. Big moment in the game. Yeah, Storm, I'll tell you what, the Stormers fans are not going to be happy about that one. Well, ball over the top. Thankfully, he's knocked forward there from the Stormers. And Dan du Plessis under a lot of pressure there. Offloading Sinatlo, then knocks it forward. So we will go back for the first knock on. No, we're not, apparently. Okay, never mind. And I'll tell you what, Ernst van Rijn, who traditionally is a very hard-working lock with not too much flair, has found himself running with the ball a lot today. Chipping behind. Chiba Daimani's after this. Is it going to pop up for him? Oh, he's going to kick this straight into wide and off him, and so it will be a Stormers line out. Tell you what, momentum has definitely shifted. $60 minutes, right? 60 minutes, 23 points in the game. Stormers going to have to score very quickly. You know, you have to score at least 2 tries in the next 10 minutes to give themselves a chance. Probably even 3 tries in the next 10 minutes, really. And even then, you know, first of all, they all have to be converted. Big tackle coming on JJ Kotze from Ewers. You replace Janus Kirsten. Herschel Yankees goes to Marty Liebach. Damian Willems, a very good tackle from Henry Slade, taking out Damian Willems' legs. Ball's now popped up to the side and been kicked through. Marty Liebach going back. Under a lot of pressure, needs some support. Does well to get away from Wyatt. Going himself, here's Marnie Liebach. Runs into a lot of traffic. Hershey just trying a little chip over the top for Hartzenberg. Who does pick it up, Hartzenberg. This should be a try. Has to be a try. Caden Blomwijk is going to his inside. But he's going to have all the pace. He's got enough pace. Cinnamon Hartzenberg over in the corner. Does score, must admit. Caden Blomwijk is on his inside. You've got to get 7 pointers here. You can't complain about throwing a try. 2-on-1 situation. I feel you should be looking to play and Clayton Blomwijk in here. I mean, it's just put a perfect. And then bang. Bang. Run at it. Square him up. Inside border Clayton Blomwijk. Clayton Blomwijk goes under the poles. You guaranteed the 7 points. Hershey Yankees, though, by the way. Great little kick from him. And now there, for me, see, Clayton Blomwijk has got to be shouting for it. He's got to be saying, we need the 7, we need the 7, we need the 7. Because now Marnie Liebach's going to have to pull out a brilliant conversion here. I mean, the conversion is so important. You see, I mean, it's a 2-on-1 situation. It's a great little chip in behind from Hershey Yankees. I think I've actually been, as I was saying earlier, I've been impressed with Hershey Yankees. I think he's been finally getting back to the Hershey Yankees we know. So it was a good little kick from him. Great waiting. My only criticism is I believe in a 2-on-1 situation, Cinnamon Hartzenberg should have been running straight at Jack Noel. Clayton Blomwijk can drift wide as a support runner. And he's missed it. You see, that's 4 points. It's 4 points they've missed out. 28-14, it's a bit of a different game. 28-14, you score one more converted try. All of a sudden, you're right back in the game. You score a converted try, you're still 11 points behind. And Stuart Hogg will come onto the park. One of my favorite players to watch, especially when he's playing well. And he's up for it and really getting into games. But, yeah, so Jack Noel will depart. He has been struggling with injuries, so Stuart Hogg does replace him. He'll go to fullback, I'm sure, and White will go onto the wing. And a very good kickoff there. And Exeter Chiefs have won the ball from the kickoff. Great bit of awareness there to take out the scrum off. The ball does fall back to Exeter Chiefs, but really good to see the Stormers are very much up for this. And Exeter Chiefs just almost need to calm down a little bit as they go down to the side. Oh, cheapers. Clayton Blomwijk has been sat down there. He was critiqued a little bit for his defensive effort last week against the Harlequins. Not a good start from him today. This is what I said, score some tries and say to them, well, what's your medal like? Can you deal with a bit of pressure? Yes, you ran in 4 tries against us, and now they're just throwing an intercept to Dan du Plessis. Dan du Plessis still going, by the way. And it's like a different team at the moment here. Paul de Vet on, by the way. So that was Hershey Yankees' try assist was his last involvement, a very good last involvement. And Ernst van Rijn, as I said, he's been getting through a lot of work today, especially as a ball carrier, which you don't often see. Mind about going to Clayton Blomwijk. Clayton Blomwijk needs to step up. Hartzenberg's got Damien Willems, so Hartzenberg wants to come inside. This is so much better from the Stormers. Ball's available there for Paul de Vet as the Stormers get into the Exeter Chiefs half. Chividai Mani, that's a poor pass to him behind Marnie Liebach. Goes Dan du Plessis. Not too many options, he's going to have to go himself. And yeah, the fact that Damien Willems is starting at 15 is just a testament to how good Dan du Plessis has been in recent weeks in that number 12 jersey. Paul de Vet now going to netting for Shear. Presenting Paul de Vet, but they're back onto the halfway line. Clayton Blomwijk is going nice and short there for Marvin Ory. Paul de Vet going to Damien Willems. Willems seeing half the gap, trying to get his hands through the tackle. Paul de Vet. Ball popping up there. He's not playing on the ground there. No advantage. Yeah, he's playing on the floor. That's playing the ball on the ground here. Okay, so it'll be a scrum for the Stormers. Well, we have a break and play. 15 minutes left, 18 points. As I said, the game's been gone for a while. But have a dip. Have a go at the end of the day. What have you got to lose? Absolutely nothing. So, yeah, I really hope that we see the Stormers continue to put the pressure on here. And I'll tell you what, if I'm any team watching this Exeter Chiefs side, and in the semi-finals and the finals, then they're going, that's a very beatable side all of a sudden. So we've seen a couple of cracks popping in. So kind of in the Simmons show there, hasn't it? Sam Simmons, Joe Simmons have been pulling the strings so far this evening. But second half, they are what, 10 points to 7 down actually. So Stormers actually lead, as I said, and you think about how frustrating that first try was. That really, really soft try at the beginning of the half. You don't concede that try. You score 2 tries of your own, and you could have been 21-10 points down. If they'd gotten this conversion, you would have been 21-14. You'd be 1 try away from being level. So it's amazing how the concept of a game of margins is always so true. Dan Duplessis down the outside, eventually brought down by Simmons, and the ball's Paul de Vet, Cinnamon Hartenberg, right up against. Well, I actually don't think they went out, Yeah, I don't think that ball ever goes out. Simmons with the back of the line up there. He's fallen right in front of Nete Bashir, and he's won the penalty. He's won the penalty. Dan Duplessis, a bit of a blood nose for him. Had a very, very good game. I think he's very underrated, Dan Duplessis. I'll tell you what, if I was the Lions, I'd be looking at him. Well, I think the Stormers rate him, unfortunately. But he's come in leaps and bounds this season. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from Ben Jason Dixon in the last few weeks. Must have been not sure out of a substitute at Hershey Yankees, and that's nothing against Paul de Vet, but when you've got somebody playing well like Hershey Yankees, inside ball there to JJ Kotzer. Very nice little set piece move coming there from the Stormers. Almost up to the 5-meter line. Nachiva Daimani. A lot of players on him, but he's still working hard. They're 10 meters out here. The Stormers. Paul de Vet going to the left-hand side. Not the best pass to Marvin Uri. Paul de Vet to Monley, not too much on. Gives it inside to Clayton Blomekes, who's wrapped up. And just falls straight. You see, this is the thing. And just a couple of poor passes. I do think that Hershey Yankee substitute was the wrong one. I think that he was playing well. I think he had his. But they're taking it quickly at Exeter Chiefs, and they just pumped it downfield. A bit of a strange decision to make. I mean, it's an athlete all the way back, but you've got a penalty. You're currently being run off your feet. Why would you take it quickly and just pump it down? Why not take your time, go and find touch, give your forwards a bit of a break, seeing they have been struggling a little bit. But they have managed to get possession just inside the Stormers' territory, so I suppose it has worked out quite well for them. And this is the first time Exeter Chiefs have had the ball in quite a long time, actually. Graham being held up by Willi Engelbrecht. And the Rush Stormers defense still doing its job. Very good tackle being made there on, I think it's Henry Slade. Now Ewers, Stephen Kitzel throws to the ground, wants to try and get back into the jackal. I tell you what, Stormers have very much missed Dion Fourie. You don't want to put it down to a single player, but I mean, he's been one of their best players, if not the best player in recent weeks. And not having him, I think, at the breakdown has very much hurt them. Now, big up and under coming in. Good take from Monty Liebach. Steps inside. Does very well as Monty Liebach. Still going as Monty Liebach. Now Clayton Blommekeys, long pass out to Engelbrecht. Engelbrecht, Dan Duplessis. Dan Duplessis getting out to Simon Hartzenberg. Hartzenberg looking to put on the afterburners. Woodburn gets it back there. Hartzenberg does throw it out, but wasn't touched from Woodburn. So very good defense there from the Exeter. He's had a very good game. Did score a try in the first half, but that very good break shortly before the cross kick for the first try as well. And I tell you what, this was just a 1-on-1. Then gets across there, pulls him out. Again, not convinced it's actually out. Oh, that's 50-50, you know. And Hartzenberg receiving some treatment from cramp. Has gone through a lot of running today, so Simon Hartzenberg. It'll be interesting to see what his meters gained are. I think he has been a bit caught on defense at times. I think he's a nice talented young player. I do think that they're really missing Leolon Zas and having Snutley at 14. I think Hartzenberg will be very good off the bench right now. Not convinced he should be a starter. Messy line there from Exeter once again. I think Johnny Gray's come away with it though, so I think they do have possession. And taking a long time to get this ball out here is Tom Cairns. He lifts us high in the air. Clayton Blommekeys looking to run, as he always does. Is brought down by Woodburn and Simmons. And in fact, he's being held up here. So that's turned into a really bad decision. Now the ball's come loose. And Simmons has dropped on it. Looking for an offload. Comes in the form of it's Dav Jenkins rather. Now turnover ball. Simmons not too much on. And he's just kicked into his prop, I think. Who's probably in an offside position there. What's going on here? What's the decision here? Scrum, yeah, it's going to be the call. Knock on. Right, so a bit of break and play. We're back into 9 minutes, so the game's pretty much done. So now we all need to ask the real big question. I did ask, I did do a poll there. We had 283 votes. 50% said yes. Well, they tried. They tried. It almost looked like something could have been on. But again, you know, you go back and two converted tries. If this was a 7-point game, you go back and said game of margins. Mind you, not finding touch. If you had scored that. You know, there could have been much more touching distance. Not conceding that really soft try from Jack Noel, even that early try in the second half. So there's definitely been moments where the Stormers have just switched off. They've just not really been at the races today. They've looked a bit lethargic. They've looked very tired. You wonder how much the travel is catching up to them. They did have a horrible time getting there. I believe they only arrived on Wednesday. And a long haul flight as well. So the traveling does seem to be a bit of an issue for the SSIs. We're really struggling to perform overseas. We've seen a lot of this throughout the tournament, and something that definitely needs to be looked at, because you know we're now seeing our teams travel for, you know, landing in their destinations almost 24 hours after they've left. So that's got to change, you know. But this is all part of the learning curve, isn't it? And I think, to be fair, I think having 2 SATs in the quarterfinals is a decent start. You know, yes, they didn't go all the way, but there's definitely been positives. And yeah, I know there's a lot of animosity towards SSIs at the moment from a lot of the Premiership and Top 14 fans, for example, which I suppose was always even there. But what's been quite cool actually is there's been for me, I've seen quite a big show of support on the SSIs from the URC team. I think we've got quite a nice little URC clan going on here. You know, we were backing each other, yeah, I think that for the first time in the competition, to get 2 teams in the quarters is not a bad start. Next year you want to do one better. Next year you want to see 2 teams in the semis, or a team in the semis. Penalty there from Exeter Chiefs. That's their first penalty, and look what it means to them, because I think they know that that's the game done. They're going to kick that straight over as Simmons, take the 3 points, and just bury the hatchet. And it's an interesting point where the Stormers have not lost a game at home this season. All of the games that they've lost have come away. And yeah, I think if this game's in Cape Town, it could be a very different result. In fact, they're going to go for the corner here are Exeter. So looking to just sort of play a bit more territory, really. I think they're not worried about the scoreboard. Interesting decision, that. As Slade kicks it off in his left boot. But the important thing is that, you know, the shining light of South African teams is coming up in just less than an hour. Glasgow Warriors versus Lions should be an absolute cracker. The lads, the Lions, do they dare to dream? This is the question. Do they dare to dream? I'm daring to dream. Do they dare to dream? Do they dare to go and beat Glasgow and get themselves to a Challenge Cup semi-final? The team that was written off a couple of months ago because they were playing pretty horrendous rugby. This, however, looks like a very good early more. This is not going to stop. This has got a penalty advantage, and they are over. That was barbaric. That's the only way I can describe it. That was absolutely barbaric from Exeter Chiefs. They booked their place in the Champions Cup semi-finals with a brutal early more that brings up the 33 point with a kick to come. 35-10 is what it'll probably be. Jack Yendel's fourth Champions Cup try. 46 games he has played in this competition. So very much a veteran of the Champions Cup, and that's his fourth try. And Simmons does add the extras. 33 at 5 points to 10. 6 minutes, 5 minutes to go. It's now a bit of a it's a bit of a saving face exercise here for the Stormers. Exeter's, well, they dare to dream, and La Rochelle, I think, waits for them. Actually, I think it's the winner of the La Rochelle game. Has it actually happened? I've actually been very off. I thought it was after this game. Champions Cup. Yeah, so I think they're playing the winner of La Rochelle and Saracens tomorrow at 4. So that should be also an absolute cracker of a game. I think it shows you can't afford to switch off at this level. A 5 minutes or 10 minute sort of period of play is what did the Stormers in the end. So charge down. Oh, this is gonna be a bit of a bonus here. Go, Marvin Orie! Oh, has he done it? Marvin Orie might have a try here. It would be the least Marvin Orie try ever. I think he's charged this down. He's had to kick it ahead and dive on it. If you've watched Marvin Orie, he's many things. He's hardworking. He's a good line operator. There's not much flair attached to him. Not much skill attached to him. So if he's managed to charge down, kick ahead, and dive on it, it would be pretty fun. I think he's got it, you know. Oh, on the other angle, I don't think he's managed. I don't think the ball's on the ground here. From this angle, I think it looked okay. So the extra player has missed this completely. So he's missed it. I tell you, that ball's down. Oh, just award it. Give Marvin Orie a try. Just give the try to Marvin. I mean, it's not going to affect the game. The poor guy's never going to score a try like this again. Yeah, he scored it. Ah, cheapest. Matthew Reynolds really not. They really doesn't. I mean, the TMO's basically told him that there is grounding. I mean, the commentators think it's to try. The TMO thinks it's to try. If Matthew Reynolds doesn't award this, then he really does not want to award this. There. Ah, just award the damn thing. So on the one angle, it looks like his arm might be behind, but the other angle, I think there's definitely contact with the grass here. See, there. For me, there. There. Yeah, it's been awarded. Yeah, good old Marvin. A little charged up try there. I think it definitely makes. I think he's definitely making contact with the ground whilst he's got his hands on it. So I think it does then pop up and goes on the other side, but I think it's definitely contact there whilst his hands on it. Plus, it's Marvin Orr. You got to give the poor man. He's never going to try like that again, lads. Like the poor lad. Now Marvin, I mean Monty Liebach, who's missed both his ones. He's gotten that one, so he finally will raise the flags. 17 points to 35. And again, you talk about those two missed kicks. So this was 21 points, and they hadn't conceded that maul try. Now you can't speak about what ifs, but this is the power's back. Oh, banging! Life is good. Life is good. The power is back. The inverters go off. We can make toasts and things. You can even boil a kettle over here in South Africa. You know, things are looking up here. 3 minutes to go. Can the Stormers score one more try just to try and save a bit of face? Well, David Williamson's gone straight through once again. I tell you what, whenever he touches the ball, something just happens, doesn't it? And he must be subject to so many big money offers to overseas clubs. It actually must be a joke. I don't know he's planning on leaving, but he must be one of the most hottest prospects right now in rugby. I mean, he's just playing stupidly good rugby at the moment. Right, Stormers have got 2.5 minutes to try and score another consolation try. You know, raise 20. Get yourself to 24 points. 25 points, 24 is not a bad. Oh, never mind. They're going to throw an intercept try to Simmons, who's going to go inside to Woodburn, who's going to pop it up to... Yeah, no, never mind. Never mind. Just scratch everything I just said there. They're going to throw an intercept try, and they're going to go out. And Tom Cairns, who's been pretty good since coming on, will get the try. But it kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Like, go on and get... Oh, never mind. You're going to throw an intercept try. Never mind. No consolation try. Okay. Sorry, I put that the prospect out there. No, not been good. And all of a sudden, this becomes a bit of a thrashing. The Stormers have scored a try and 24 points to 35. And it's David Williams, who's done so well. Just trying to throw out that cut-up pass towards Billy Engelbrecht. And, yeah, just going straight into the hands of Exeter Chiefs through a couple of phases, a couple of tackles, a couple of pops-ups, and Tom Cairns does go over. And with the kick to come, this could be a hammering. Look what it means to the Chiefs fans. Oh, they've got their night. They've had their night. The Stormers, I'll tell you what, it might not even be the worst thing for them, to be honest. They've got a URC to try and win. And if they're going to win the URC, they've got to go and try and... Well, they've obviously got to get there initially. But they've got to go and try and beat Leinster at Leinster if they win the quarters and the semis. Chances are they will be playing against Leinster in Leinster. So wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing to not have an extra game, not have an extra travel. I don't know what their fixture looking like, but at this stage, I think they've got back-to-back home games. So at this stage, they will not travel again until the play or until the final. That's the only time they'd have to travel again. So yeah, maybe not the worst thing for them to just be able to go back to Cape Town and just focus on the URC, get themselves ready for those playoffs. They've got 2 more games. They're basically tied up second place on the URC log. The clock goes red. They do kick it out, and the Exeter Chiefs celebrate, and the Stormers, whilst they bow out of Europe, big learning curve at the end of the day. They just weren't at the races, and frustrating, I think, from a stacking perspective, that Stormers probably the best chance of getting at semi-final spot. And now only moves to the Lions to see if they can pull for a miracle over in Scotland. What a performance though from Exeter Chiefs, running in tries for fun. Full time, 42.17. People, thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you guys in about half an hour for the Lions game, which is my team, my boys, my buggers. And I reckon they're going to go and surprise a couple of people. Let's see, shall we? We'll see you guys then. Please do smash like on the way out. Please do subscribe to the channel as well.